It's a smile that's irresistibly prejudiced in your favor. We need a recap, so here we go.
Now let's get right to it, homeboy. Gatsby can be considered a criticism of the anti-Calvinistic image of the American dream. America may have started as a land where homies got each other's backs, but Fitzgerald America is full of backstabbing crackers that make Gatsby's romantic dream ridiculous.
The equality of opportunity. But Gatsby is a novel about our de facto aristocracy and the limits of American opportunity. I mean, Daisy Buchanan is... Mr. Green, I hate everything about this stupid collection of first world problems passing for a novel, but my hatred of that Willa-Catherine loser Daisy Buchanan burns with the fire of 1,000 suns. Aw, me from the past. Here's the thing, you're not supposed to like Daisy Buchanan, at least not in the uncomplicated way that you like, say, cupcakes. By the way, Stan, where are my cupcakes?
It's not your birthday or Maribration.
Ah, stupid Maribration only coming once a year. I don't know where you got the idea that the quality of a novel should be judged by the likability of its characters, but let me submit to you that Daisy Buchanan doesn't have to be likable to be interesting. Furthermore, most of what makes her unlikable, her sense of entitlement, her limited empathy, her inability to make difficult choices, are the very things that make you unlikable. That's the pleasure and challenge of reading great novels. You get to see yourself as others see you, and you get to see others as they see themselves.
She lived across the bay in old moneyed East Egg. Her husband was heir to one of America's wealthiest families. His name was Tom Buchanan. When we were at Yale together, he'd been a sporting star. Now his glory days were behind.
And Nick's distant cousin, who lives across the bay from Gatsby and Nick in the much more fashionable East Egg. Daisy Buchanan is crazy rich, like polo pony rich, thanks to her marriage to Tom Buchanan. Tom is a former football player and lifelong asshat, whom Nick describes as one of those men who achieves such an acute, limited excellence at 21 that everything afterwards savors of anticlimax. Listen, if you're under 21, it might be difficult to apprehend the depth of that burn, but trust me, it's a burn. So soon after the novel begins, Daisy and Tom ask Nick to come over for dinner, where the golfer Jordan Baker is also there, and they have this awful party. And there's this great moment when Tom goes on a racist rant and says, "We're Nordics and we've produced all the things that make a civilization," which is hilarious because none of those people has actually produced anything. They didn't make the fancy furniture they're sitting on, they didn't grow or cook the food they're eating, they don't even light their own freaking candles. Anyway, we also learned that Tom has a mistress and that Daisy might not be as stupid as she's letting on because she looks at her young daughter and famously says, "I hope she'll be a fool." That's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful little fool. Now,
Oh, there you are. Daisy just left. She asked me to tell you. She had a wonderful time.
She didn't like it.
Oh, of course she did.
No. No, she didn't like it. She did not have a good time. I feel so far away from her now. So hard to make her understand.
You mean about the party?
The party? I couldn't care less about the parties. That'll be all for now, gentlemen. Thank you. You see, she has to tell Tom that she never loved him.
What?
Yes. And we can go back to Louisville to her parents' house. Her parents are lovely people, old sport. We'll be married there. See, Daisy and I are gonna start over just as if we're 5 years ago.
I wouldn't ask too much of her.
Wouldn't ask too much.
No.
I beg your pardon, old sport. It's so sad because it's so hard to make her understand. It's so hard to make her understand. I've gotten all these things for her. I've gotten all these things for her. Now she just wants to run away. She even wants to leave that.
Jay, you can't repeat the past.
Can't repeat the past.
No.
Why, of course you can. Of course you can. See, I'm gonna fix things just the way they were before.
Gatsby, tellingly, doesn't drink. He's never even used his pool. Well, until the very end of the novel. All the money he's acquired and all the parties he throws are about one thing and one thing only: winning back Daisy Buchanan. There's a flashback in the novel to Gatsby's first meeting with Daisy, and when you hear Gatsby tell that story, it's very telling that it's hard to understand whether Gatsby is falling for Daisy or for her mansion. But when they finally reunite years later and Gatsby has a mansion of his own, everything is yellow. Gatsby's car is yellow, his tie, the buttons on Daisy's dress. At one point, Nick, who's third-wheeling it big time in this scene, describes some flowers as smelling like pale gold. What does that even mean? Thanks, Thought Bubble. So the most famous color symbol in The Great Gatsby is the green light at the end of Daisy's dock that Gatsby's always looking out at from across the bay. Gatsby just wants to reach across the bay and get to that green light, and if he can, he believes that he will have the girl and the life that has driven his wild ambition. Nick calls that green light at one point an enchanted object, and that's what symbols really are in both literature and real life. So yes, the green light is a symbol in Gatsby, but this isn't only stuff that happens in novels. We all have enchanted objects in our lives. On the night that I got engaged, I drank champagne with the woman who is now my wife, and I still have the cork from that champagne bottle. I'm lying. I couldn't afford corky champagne. It was twist-off champagne, but I still have the bottle cap. So just as the green light is an enchanted object, gold and yellow are enchanted colors in Gatsby, and also, for the record, in real life. I mean, think of golden opportunities, or golden ages, or your golden youth, or the golden arches. Unless you're at McDonald's, gold is the color that conflates wealth and beauty. But while in our culture the yellow color of gold is seen as telling us that wealth is beauty and beauty wealth, in the novel The Great Gatsby, it's a bit different. In the novel, yellow is the color not only of wealth, but also of death. Myrtle Wilson's house is yellow. The eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg, which that justified most means. Wealth was the American dream, but the foul dust that trailed in the wake of those dreams, the casual destruction, the cyclical violence, the erosion of altruism, make it clear that at least to Fitzgerald, wealth isn't simply good. The last chapter of The Great